Bitcoin just faced a massive rejection, while the stock markets just keep pushing through, which make many people wonder, what should we be doing right now? Now, ladies and gentlemen, this is one of the charts we covered yesterday as we talked about our nearly perfect entry and about what price we were looking for versus what price we got. And as you can see, Bitcoin right now as it stands just had a very beautiful bounce off of the previous resistance now turned into support, which is making me extremely bullish. And if you yesterday did not see that chart, then at least you saw this chart that has a slightly different approach to it all, but the same narrative still stands, which is that yesterday we said, hey, there could be some massive resistance at these previous tops. Obviously at the $43.2-ish thousand mark or at about $44.3 thousand. And fortunately or unfortunately, it was felt at the initial mark at about 43.3. We hypothesized as well, though, that if it does not bounce from these levels, which we are witnessing right now, which is a pretty wide price range depending on which chart you're watching, and we do not see another, at least retest of this specific top, with now this downtrend that we've been seeing turning into an uptrend, I would start to get quite negative, but at least my buy-in targets are still set. Matter of fact, I'm going to show you one more beautiful thing, which is this chart right here. And it becomes so beautiful because Bitcoin just now, even though it did break through yesterday, just now had a beautiful bounce at one of our longer lasting support lines. And so hopefully some of you guys were able to scoop back up some cheap Bitcoin, because I keep telling you, right now it seems like the most likely direction is up. And every single time I make that video and the price drops a bit, people say, Dusty, you're wrong. You see, you're wrong. And then I keep telling them the narrative is bullish. And so that's the decision that we're going with. That's what we're following. And I tell people, if you're too scared to go for it all, check out the link down below. Claim yourself a $500 free Bitcoin trade with the link down below to Bybit. You cannot claim this if you're in the US, but soon enough, I will have some options for you guys as well. But just check that link out. Grab yourself a free $500 trade. And yes, of course, I know that right now we have been consolidating, that right now there is, of course, a chance that Bitcoin will continue like this. And so we see another lower price. And even if we do not hold at the 40K region at these previous low points, that we actually do have a significant drawback. And again, we've got two targets that we're significantly buying in at. Our initial target is right here at 38. And as we also stated earlier, our max pain, the worst that could ever happen, in my opinion, unless we get a Bitcoin ETF denial and crazy waves of FUD, is roughly this $33,000 area. And that would also coincide with a massive 25% or so drop, which we have historically seen in Bitcoin bull markets. So I am, of course, keeping the option open that this happens. But as of this point, I've just got buy targets and more buy targets and more buy targets. This was a beautiful spot. Obviously, you can see it from a different angle. Beautiful spot. The only angle that makes me think this is not a worthy long position, though, is the consolidation becomes a lot more apparent. Then again, you might note upon the short-term bullish divergence that we're noticing here. Might make you a little bit excited. However, it really is quite conflicting right now, because you could also see this potentially as a descending triangle, which isn't necessarily the most of bullish things. But the reason I'm staying so bullish and kind of don't really want to hear all the negativity is because we know what's coming up. We've talked about the little bit longer term narrative, and specifically we talked about our S&P scenario. And right now as it stands, since the S&P just keeps going higher and higher and higher and higher and higher and higher and higher every single day, there's almost nothing that can stop Bitcoin. And especially, ladies and gentlemen, if we actually break an all-time high, it's going to be probably so massive. Oh, it's hard to imagine. Right now, Galaxy Digital CEO says a spot Bitcoin ETF will be approved before January 10th. That would also be just insane. And BlackRock is folding. They just keep going with the SEC's plays, but they're working tirelessly for like their 10th meeting, it seems, this month. I think 3 or 4 only, but for getting those ETFs approved, they're trying their best. And we know whatever BlackRock wants will happen. Bitwise also just went for a very interesting commercial. I'll just, quickly play it here without the sound because I'm not so sure if there's issues and I do not want the video to be blocked. You know what's interesting these days? Bitcoin. Check out or look for Bitwise, my friends, is what it says. And yeah, fair play. We've already said it before, but if the ETFs get approved, it's going to be such a massive surge to basically get that dominance over the market. It just makes so much sense for the fight to be severe. And they're going to try to FUD you out. They're going to try to throw all these different negative articles at you to make sure you sell. And we've talked about that before, but at the end of the day, these institutions know where the money lies. Altcoin ETFs are going to be coming up. And really, it's not about Bitcoin ETFs as a model anymore in these discussions with the SEC either. For the most part, it's just about the nitty-gritty details. And so if we do see a rejection, we all know that at the end of the day, I don't think they could go for a straight up rejection. I think they can go for a delay. But it's going to be a strange circumvention of things, because obviously the final approval is around January 10th with the expectation that they might be approved even earlier. I don't know. Following that narrative, I think if I just keep on buying, there's almost nothing that can go wrong here. And some people are skeptical. They think, Dusty, are you sure it's wise to buy? We see such massive pressure slightly above us. And I'll tell you this, for the most part, it doesn't really matter because of how open, and we talked about that earlier, the levels slightly above 44.4K are. Our biggest resistance are these previous tops, but afterwards, it's a very quick rise towards 47. And so there is a chance they're just going to push it through. And obviously, it's going to take some money from some side, but the moment that they do push it through, it could be massive. And again, I base that for the most part on the S&P continuing to go up, and thus Bitcoin not really being able to go down too much. And of course, guys, we got a couple of bearish scenarios that could still play out. Again, we just got ourselves a rejection, which we did expect to happen yesterday. We did warn about it after, of course, I showed you we opened our position. And as it stands, I still am just looking for more long positions to open at deeper prices if we do manage to go there. And honestly, nothing in the chart yet is making me worried, and most of the big VCs I speak to, I had 3 meetings today yet again, are also extremely bullish that I can't tell you anything except for, it's not financial advice, but trust the process. And again, if you want a free trade on Bybit or places like that, check the link down below. And very soon, because a lot of you guys were smashing that like button, I'm going to be sharing with you guys all my bot strategies that have been working amazingly over the last couple of months. But I want you to keep pressing that like button though, because it's a lot of work to share, but I really want you guys to do well, so it's coming up. And that was our quick little update for today.